Welcome back. I've got these little gorgeous coquelettes, they're called over here, which are little baby cockerels. And I've got a pair of shears. They are garden shears, but you can pick these up really cheaply. And I don't use them for anything else. And as they age, I then send them off to the gardening department. But these work really, really well. And I'm going to show you two methods of just taking that little bit of string stuff out. Two methods of spatchcocking your chicken, and a very nice recipe to go with it. Now, this one is what they do in France, and it's exactly the opposite of what they do in England, and you can see the difference. You literally cut your breastbone right down the side of it, and if you've got a pair of gardening shears, they work like a dream. And now you've got the last of the big bone, and there it is. Spatchcocking allows you to do a fast marinade. You can put them on the barbecue. You can actually do quite a lot you can't do otherwise. And I'm just going to take it through here as well. What I would do. Right. Now all you have to do is to turn it over. And that's it. You now have spatchcock bird. That is it. Nobody could say that was difficult. Right. The other method is the way they do it in England. The advantage is that your breast meat is in the middle. I don't know why that's an advantage. But this, again, I've got to get this little piece of elastic out. Right. Now, they clip it down the backbone. And then they clip the other side to get the backbone removed. And that's the difference. And you can see you now are removing the other side of the backbone. And they discard this piece. The downside of doing it this way for me is that, let me show you with this one, just here you have the oysters, and you can see you've ripped right through them. And I think that's my favourite little pieces of meat on the whole thing. But I will be roasting this myself alongside, because I can't waste that, can I? So this one looks like this when it's laid out, and this one looks like this when it's laid out. Now, I don't think you've got a lot between them, except this one you have, I didn't cut that, that's how they've packaged it. This version, it lays flatter. This version, you do have these little problems. You can cut them off here, or you can just leave them be. But you don't have it laying quite as flat and elegant, I suppose. And this shows off the breast nicely, but swings and roundabouts. Now, the recipe. I'm going to take a tray. I'm going to put a bit of oil in it, and I'm taking a big pile of potatoes. They have been washed, and all they are is cut into sensible sized pieces. I'm going to put a bit of oil over the top of those, and that's it. That couldn't be any simpler. The other half, I've got here an onion and green pepper. This is one of those Basque long green peppers because that's what's available, but you could use other things, carrots, anything you like. Right, a little touch of oil and the sauce. This is a homemade teriyaki sauce, so it's less sweet, but it ended up, I've got the recipe for it on the site. Now, I'm going to use a small quantity because it's ever so strong. And then I'm going to put the rest over the chicken. Okay? Now, anyone can do this. I'm going to take this one here, no reason why. I'm going to put a blob like that on this side. And I'm going to turn it over, lay it on top of the vegetables, and put some more on this side. And that is it. Anybody could do this. It's very simple. Now you have a spatchcock. And I don't know about where you live, but once they spatchcock them, the price goes up. And if they put a little bit of marinade on, it goes up again. That's not difficult to do, is it? So I'm going to wash my hands and put it in the oven. And this has 40 minutes. And you have a complete meal in one single pot. And it's a little bit more interesting than simply a roast dinner. So let's put it in the oven and come back and see it. But it's nice. It's unusual. It's different. The cock meat, because it's a baby cock, it has a stronger flavour, but it's incredibly tender. Paul and I share one of these, so there's no way I need to cook two today. But what I thought I'd do is to show you how easy it is to prepare for a later time for busy people who want to not have all that faffing about to do when they're tired. So I have here some honey, and it's about 50% honey and 50% Dijon mustard, which is a fairly easy thing to mix together. I'm going to put a little bit on here, and then I'm going to lay them down. I'm throwing this jar away afterwards. It's the old honey jar that I just added the Dijon mustard to. Now, you must have the possibility of buying a decent quality mustard where you are. And that will have in it absolutely everything you need to make a nice chicken. There's salt in there, there's a bit of vinegar, there's the mustard itself. I'm going to turn it back and I'm going to finish off the jar on that side. Right, now I can recycle the jar having used it, and that's it. I'm just going to literally just spread this over. So I'm going to lay it over, lay it over, lay it over, and then I need to pull it down. Now, I've got a little trick that I do. If you just mark this, it sort of knows where to tear, and that's it. And you get a nice edge. Now I'm going to just keep wrapping it up. Right. Okay, and I'm just going to put another layer on as well. Then I'm going to freeze it. And when my son comes, we shall give it to him. And then when he gets ready to go to work, he can just take it out the deep freeze. And when he comes home from work, he can just pop it in the oven. And there you are. By putting it in the deep freeze like this, the marinade will get stronger and penetrate better. So you haven't lost anything. And that now is ready for the oven. And it's an easy thing for him to do. I'm also going to give him some chopped up vegetables to go with it to make a complete meal. And if it's labelled, he can use it when he's particularly tired. There you are. That's how to deal with spatchcocking, and it will taste delicious. The one in the oven will come out soon. These are ready now. And here you are. Excuse me. You can see we've got our chicken. I actually threw this in at the end. I couldn't bear to not cook it, but I shall deal with that separately. These are fondant. They've got little patches of colour on them. You've got all of your vegetables sitting underneath, all flavoured. That is delicious. And these are your little wings. And your breast, I mean, the whole thing is tiny, but we will divide it down here and we will share, because it's just such a delightful little bird. I don't know whether you have them where you are. We've only started getting them here. We used to have them, but they were terribly expensive, but they've been coming into Lidl is where we found them. And they've started arriving in the butcher's counters now. So it might be possible for you to find them. They are absolutely delicious, and all of this has gone soft and it's produced a lovely juice to squash things into. Oh, it's really nice. So that's a whole meal in one pot. This little thing we did add, that was the backbone out of the other spatchcock, which I spatchcocked the English way. But I think this is a lovely thing to have. Yeah. Enjoy.